Welcome back, everyone, here to Bronx Talks. Today, got a very special video for you guys. We are going to be talking about the New York Yankees and their backup plan if they cannot land Yoshi Yamamoto. Obviously, it's who the Yankees are going after hard. There's a lot of teams in play. The Dodgers, the Mets also going after him very hard. The Mets had a dinner with him yesterday, and the Yankees met with Yamamoto as well. And Yamamoto actually requested the meeting. But we're going to be talking about what the Yankees can do, what is their plan if they cannot land him, and where else will they pivot.
Yeah. And, obviously he's their number one choice, but say the Dodgers or the Mets go crazy, say his contract somehow gets into the $400 million range, there's a certain point where the Yankees have to say, all right, this is too much. And when it comes to that time, the Yankees do have to pivot and they do have to go somewhere else because their pitching depth did get depleted in the Juan Soto trade. Now, where can they go? The first option and probably the closest guy to Yamamoto, assuming the Yankees are out on Snell, is Jordan Montgomery because he's been with the Yankees before. So you'd hope he'd be interested in a reunion. And whether he was satisfied or not with how the Yankees helped him develop, he has a good relationship with a lot of the guys on the team. And, since he left the Yankees and went to the Cardinals, the Rangers, he's become a much, much better pitcher. So his market is probably pretty big. I know the Rangers are going after him very hard, but I think if you don't land Yamamoto, the first thing you do is look at Montgomery and see, would you be interested in a reunion and for how much?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think Montgomery, I think the bad blood between him and the Yankees, or whatever you want to call it, the little bit of tension that was there, that might be gone now. I mean, look what Montgomery has done. He went out there, won a World Series. He's proved the Yankees wrong. And if the Yankees go out there and pay him what he wants to be paid, I think Jordan Montgomery would be interested coming back to the Yankees. We know he had a really good time wearing those pinstripes, friends with a lot of those guys in the clubhouse. And maybe you'd want to come back there, pitch with that rotation, pitch with Garrett Cole again. I think it makes a ton of sense. He's pitched for the Yankees before. He can play in New York. He would definitely be the number one option after Yamamoto. But Christian, we've also heard the Yankees could go the other way instead of starting pitching and make a super bullpen. Just load that bullpen up. Blake Snell, not Blake Snell. Josh Hader is a big guy, one of the best free agent pitchers available. And you slide him into that bullpen. The Yankees need lefty relievers. There's a lot of good guys available. Jordan Hicks, another one. Maybe the Yankees go that route and pair up a couple of those relievers into that bullpen.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a move they have to make because you look at their bullpen, especially as you get to the back of it with guys like Nick Ramirez, it definitely does fall off a little bit. And you're also taking Mike King out of that bullpen. I know he was planning on starting this year, but he ate a lot of innings for the Yankees last year and in some pretty big moments too. So I think you definitely got to do something to the bullpen. It doesn't have to be a flashy move. Although, if you're choosing to not really go after a somewhat big time starter, then I think I like this idea of let's stack the bullpen and make this dominant. So even if we have starters going 5 innings, 3 earned runs, all right, we can turn to the bullpen and they can just lock down the rest of the game. So I think that does work. However, even if you do that, you still need more starting pitching.
Yes.
And we mentioned guys like Frankie Montas, possibly
Alex Wood.
Alex Wood, sort of 1-2 year deal guys that won't cost a lot, but you could still count on. Because right now, I believe you only have 4 pitchers in your starting rotation, and you really want.
The next guy up, I guess, would be Clayton Beater, who's
Yeah,
still
but you don't even know if he's ready yet. So I think, and GMs say this all the time, you want to go into the season with 7 or 8 starting pitchers.
Yes.
So the Yankees have to do that. And, there's obviously some lower level guys, but whether they stack the bullpen or not, the starting pitching, they still need to add to it. And whether they get Yamamoto or not, or whether they get Montgomery, you still have to add a little bit to the bullpen. So, this is what Ken Rosenthal concluded his summary because he was the one who made the report about Monty, the bullpen. He finished with with or without Yamamoto, the Yankees will need to keep going. And basically, that means the Yankees aren't done no matter what. Now, one thing that would be interesting about the bullpen is that in the past, we've seen Cashman hasn't really gone out and spent that much money on relievers simply because he doesn't have to. And one of his strengths is finding those, you know, lower tier guys with the high upside that he can turn over to Matt Blake and he can turn them into phenomenal relievers. So when we say that they might bolster up this bullpen, I am a little skeptical because it's not really, at least in recent years, it hasn't really been the Yankees' move to go out and sign, giving out $100 million contracts like the Mets
And
to relievers.
the last two contracts they did give out to relievers, you look at Zach Britton, Aroldis Chapman, those contracts didn't work out. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think you just got to trust, the guys available. And if you bring in a guy like Josh Hader, I mean, just think how effective that would be. You got Garrett Cole going out there giving you 7 innings. You slide it over to Josh Hader, and they could even maybe stretch Josh Hader out. But building up that bullpen, making it, adding on to a strength. I feel like if you do that, you have the last year's Cy Young, and I feel like it would just be really, really beneficial to the Yankees. And I think it would help a big aspect of their game. There's no doubt about it. But the bottom line is, we said it a lot this video. They need to add pitching. Whether they get Yamamoto, whether they don't, they need to add pitching because, like Christian said before, they're only at really like 4 starters, and they're going to need a lot of pitching. And it's going to come down to Brian Cashman. He's going to have to be creative. Whether he goes out and signs a few starters, whether he goes out and gets some bullpen arms, or whether he gets something off the trade market, the Yankees need a lot of pitching. There's still many, many deals that the Yankees have to make here.
Yeah, and obviously our number one hope is that they land Yamamoto, but you never know what other teams end up doing. But we should have a much clearer picture of the Yankees offseason in the coming weeks because Yamamoto is supposed to sign before Christmas.